Kyzen booth here at Apex. I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Forsyth, Director of Marketing.
Good to see you, Trevor.
Good to see you again. So we've got something really interesting to talk about this week because it's not actually a chemistry. That's
right.
It's a monitoring tool called Analyst.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about it and how it works?
Certainly. Well, of course, Kyzen is a cleaning materials company. That's what we do. And over these past decades, the industry has decided that aqueous cleaning is the preferred technology because that's mostly what everyone buys. The challenge of aqueous technologies is there is a cleaning agent and water balance that needs to be maintained. And for more than 20 years, we've been selling some systems to do that. Mm-hmm. We have a variety of sensors that figure out what that measurement is. It depends on the technologies that we're using on the chemical side. So that becomes a bit of a portfolio of sensors that sort of matches up with the product. Well, we decided we wanted to add a new sensor over the course of the past year, but we took it as an opportunity to do two things that we hadn't done much of in the past. Mm-hmm. Our control systems tend to be more focused on inline systems because, frankly, they're very dynamic. Right. And they really benefited from control systems that kept that dynamicism, I guess, in place. We decided, well, let's take a look on the batch side. People want to monitor, people want data, they want to be able to control things. There's obviously more batch cleaners out there than inlines, one imagines. So we started there. We also looked at and recognized in this environment where Industry 4.0 is, more than a talking point, but on the way to becoming a reality. Right. We said, how can we help lead the cleaning industry into that game? Mm-hmm. So with that mixture in mind was born the Kyzen Analyst. And the reason for the name was, in fact, because of that data. What we're trying to do is provide an easy mechanism to have that data at your fingertips, whether that's the kind of plan A for most people is a nice rich display locally, but also a cloud-based delivery system of data management that allows you to do all kinds of analytics and tracking and data download at your fingertips on your keyboard. For people that are in a more secure environment where cloud systems aren't commonly available, even in a Wi-Fi network environment, you can have enhanced features that can be used to have that analytics to be able to see what's going on. We've gone in balancing those two needs, that sort of secure environment versus a more open environment has made both of those deliveries of the data more effective. And so it's a really pretty rich experience that's now, it won an NPI award this week and has been something that people have really resonated with. The engineers, our key customers, like data, they like charts, and we're delivering copious amounts of both. So we see this as a technology that will move throughout our product line on the control and monitoring side of things. We've been selling PCSs since the kind of mid to late 90s, and they have a great interface of their own that delivers some remote access data and whatnot. That was sort of an early generation of this concept, but we've really made some giant leaps forward with what we have now. So that'll be a retro back onto that to bring it all along.
So looking inside the machine or the system, it's basically analyzing the amount of concentration versus water.
That's right. All these every monitoring system using all the techniques that are commonly used are doing exactly that. And some, historically, the first systems we're using and still use in some cases refractometry, which is more of an optics sort of approach. Some systems use density. This is a speed of sound, sort of a sonar sort of application. And what they're all doing is comparing it against a known. So whatever product is going to be used, you develop a control, same as we do for all our analytical equipment in the lab, where before they run a battery of tests, what do? They run a set of controls and make sure everything's in cal, and then they go and run their data. Well, these systems are set up in quite the same way. There's a testing protocol that's done before the device ships that lines it up for that. And moves forward, and obviously that's a library that grows over time and that sort of thing.
Right. Okay. But I mean, by its nature, it's something that's going to be able to be used with presumably any chemistry.
That's correct. One of the other decisions we made, as well as bringing this data richness to the equation, was for it to be an open system. That while no one, death and taxes are the only thing that's guaranteed, We believe this will control virtually every product on the market. I'm sure there'll be a few of ours and other people's that it might not. But that's the approach here. This is an open system that gives our customers flexibility. Historically, these control systems have been closed systems that sort of tied folks in. And moving forward, we see that the market would prefer that to change, and we're going to move forward with that change.
Right. Okay, so looking at the interface itself, you've got a couple. You've got one that you've got at the bath level,
At the, near the machine, right?
near the machine, and then you've got a desktop version, which can be obviously used on the internet and,
That's right.
and used anywhere you want to monitor it.
Exactly.
Now this is a combination of graphical representation and you're using icons as well, so you get a quick, easy.
That's right.
look.
The whole idea here is I may know that a customer's supposed to run at 12% or 14%, and the operator may know, and the engineer may know, but someone walking by may not know. Their boss may not know. The QC people may not know. So what we've done is built into the interface is colors. These are all adjustable levels, and right, where they can, if it's in the ideal level, it's green. If it's in the not ideal but satisfactory level, it's yellow. And if it's outside the satisfactory level, it turns red. Also sends text or email messages to alert those crossing those borders. And we've all done an emoji, which we jokingly call the executive summary, that is either a happy face, a sad face, or kind of a dour face in between, that anyone walking by could say, well, gee, that doesn't look good. What's up with that? Yeah. Now that's on that local screen, but also even on the remote stuff. So if you pulled it up on your phone and you glance at it and you see that emoji is frowning, well, that's bad. That sort of thing. So that's the whole idea of increasing the usability and the effectiveness. In lots of plant environments, there's people that speak lots of different languages. English is not always their first language. This is a system that's developed in English, so most of the stuff is in that language. But emojis are,
Universal.
That's right. Yeah. And so that's just like the colors, the green, yellow, red stuff. We're trying to make this as these are products that's already shipping in various theaters around the world. So those were things we were worried about right away.
Now, you mentioned at the beginning of the interview that you're taking a batch approach to this. Most of your systems in the past have been inline. Where do you put the sensor inside the batch machine, and how does that translate the information out?
Well, the trick is just not having disturbed flow. So every system it'll be in a slightly different place, but it's not a challenging proposition. It's just a bit of care to make sure it's in the right spot. And we've already worked it out with most of the machine manufacturers and a few others that's scheduled and they'll have you want to have good flow, so you're getting a good reading, but you want to be able to access things and all this kind of stuff, right? So it'll always be in a slightly different spot downstream of the pump somewhere. But generally nearby, so you get a good solid reading and there's no corruption of the signal.
Well, an exciting development, Tom, and
very much so. Our whole approach on the control and monitoring systems has been that brings value to our customers that are using our materials, whether they're using this is mostly Aquinox products for the aqueous side, and those are products that clean well and do a great job. But fundamentally, if they're not being used properly, there's money being left on the table by the customer, and these systems allow them to get that full value.
Yeah, you've got to keep the bath consistency there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Well, I want to congratulate you on your new product, and thank you for joining us today and giving us the detailed analysis of it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thank you.